Get ready to rumble. Joe Biden and Donald Trump will go toe-to-toe on the debate stage. The two now accepting invitations from us here at ABC News and CNN. The former president writing on Truth Social, he's ready and willing to take the stage against our current commander-in-chief. Biden was first to accept the invitation, sharing this fiery video on social media today.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
That's right. He keeps making sense, or keeping his sense of humor, rather, making that note that he's free on Wednesdays, the day Trump's trial is not in court, clearly. But wait, the Biden campaign taking it a step further, now listing this shirt on their merch site with the slogan, "Free on Wednesdays." Let's bring in our White House correspondent, Mary Alice Parks, joined by our contributor and presidential historian Mark Updegrove. Both are free on Wednesdays every week for us. Mary Alice, let's start off with you. Just the motivation for this debate in June and then one in September. Why these days? Why these months?
Yeah, interesting. Obviously, earlier than we traditionally see presidential debates, normally in the fall after the conventions. But I think that the Biden campaign wanted to get out in front here. They wanted to have these debates on their terms. Interesting that the first debate is going to be in Atlanta, in Georgia. That's a key battleground state. We have seen recent polls that have shown the president trailing Trump in crucial battleground states, Michigan, Nevada, even Georgia. I mean, this is a state where the president beat Trump up by the narrowest of narrowest margins, about 13,000 votes. So, look, I think that this is a president that wants to get out in front, that wants to clearly debate, but on his own terms, and hoping to do that early before even any of the early voting starts. Kira.
All right, well, Mark, this is a major change from the Commission on Presidential Debates, traditionally the fall slate of debates. What do you make of this?
Well, I think that's Mary Alice is absolutely right, Kira. This is Biden trying to control things, trying to get ahead of things. There's a lot of confusion out there about among voters about who stands for what. You've seen Biden's poll numbers are relatively low. This is an opportunity to get in front of voters, to get in front of TV viewers who are watching this debate and seeing them side by side, squaring off against one another on the exact same stage. So I think it's Biden's attempt to control things here in a political environment where Donald Trump, through his chaos, normally controls things. This is the White House taking things back, Kira.
So, Mary Alice, what do both candidates have to gain by this drastic departure in format from the recent past, do you think?
I mean, look, I think that this setting is probably better for the president. He wanted a setting where there wouldn't be an audience, exactly like Mark was talking about. We have seen the former president, we've seen Trump really use the audience to his advantage, kind of rally people up. We've seen those debates where the moderator has to spend so much time trying to control an audience. But if these two debates that are now locked in won't have an audience, it will, in theory, mean more time is devoted just to a policy discussion. But we know, Kira, this is where a debate about the debate really starts. They're still going to have to figure out all those little details, exactly how much time for each answer, rebuttal, opening statements, and closing statements. I mean, there's still a lot of details to be figured out that could really change the format in the smallest ways that can make a really big difference. But one other really interesting part, because this will be just on a single network, in theory, the audiences might be smaller, though, of course, we know that it's those clips from the debates that play everywhere the next day that can really make a difference and set a narrative.
So, Mark, how much of a role have debates really played in the outcomes of elections traditionally? And how do you see these debates in particular, I mean, with Trump and Biden, impacting November this time around?
It's interesting, Kira, the last time we've seen debates like this in a studio without a live audience were the first presidential debates we've ever had, which was in 1960 when John F. Kennedy, the Democratic candidate, was squaring off the Republican candidate, Richard Nixon. And those had a profound effect on the outcome of the election. Kennedy looked a lot more composed. Richard Nixon had 5 o'clock shadow. The camera really favored John F. Kennedy. So this is a different circumstance in terms of the environment. But we've had presidential debates from 1976 forward, and there have been some major aspects of those debates that have come into play in the election outcomes. They reinforce the impressions we have of these candidates, negative or positive, so they can play in a candidate's favor or not so much. But you have the entire world watching these debates, and so they become enormously important in many cases in the outcome of the fall election. Kira.
Mitt Romney now telling the HuffPost, it'll be entertaining, informative, like the two old guys on the Muppets. I think this is just going to be the beginning of all lawmakers who are going to be weighing in. Mark, you know, Trump can be a loose cannon, as we know, in past debates and also on CNN when he basically railroaded Caitlin Collins during that town hall. How are we, ABC and CNN, going to be able to keep this civil, keep these debates civil, and really get the best out of both of these men? I mean, Mark, look, you're the presidential historian. Would you have advice? And you've given advice to numerous leaders in the past.
Here, I think that's what the Biden White House is trying to do. They're trying to control the environment here, hence the studio, not having a live audience. We know what Donald Trump did back in 2016 in the debates that he had with Hillary Clinton. In that first debate, he brought the alleged mistresses of Donald Trump, really just to throw a curveball and to get Hillary Clinton off her game. Trump has been a master of this. He can manipulate crowds, and that has come into play in the debates. So this is the White House saying, look, we'll debate you, but we're going to do it in a controlled environment where Donald Trump cannot create chaos, including the prospect of turning off a microphone when a candidate's allotted time has elapsed. This will give the White House a greater advantage insofar as it will not allow Trump to create chaos as easily as he has in the past, Kira.
It's going to be interesting. Mary Alice, Mark, thank you so much. I know we'll be talking a lot about it before and after.